Well, good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to the Norris Ring in Germany for races 16, 17 and 18 this weekend for the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. It's the sixth event of the season. We got warm, sunny conditions. It was very hot for qualifying yesterday, the first of two qualifying sessions for the Formula 3 Championship. It's once again very warm today. We're not sure that it's going to be the same tomorrow, though. And there is the driver that starts the race for the first time this season from pole position. Felix Rosenqvist, runner-up in the championship last year with 11 race wins. He's only so far this season, though, had one win and one podium. He needs to start the season now. We're already into the second half of proceedings, and he got pole position yesterday by 3 1/1000ths of a second from this man, Esteban Ocon, the championship leader in his first season of Formula 3 racing, having raced in the Formula Renault Euro Cup last year, where he was a race winner and finished third in the championship. And he's been absolutely stunning this season. He's taken 10 pole positions from the 15 pole sessions that we've had this year. Esteban just missing out yesterday, though, second place, 0.003 of a second. And Max Verstappen, who's been another rookie start this season, and there are many of them, qualified third. He was only 11,000ths of a second slower than the pole time. So tremendously close between those three. There's a couple of tenths difference back then from those three, but a really good qualifying session. I'm Chris Hartley, and alongside me is Dave Richardson, and we've got some real young stars in this series this year, haven't we, Dave?
We have, and as we look at Max Verstappen, who of course comes here just a week on from Spa, where he took 3 out of 3. You and I watched qualifying yesterday, and Max was certainly, dare I say it, getting ever closer to the wall here at Norris Ring than anybody else. So expect good things from him. Tom Blomqvist, you had a brief chat with him after qualifying yesterday.
Yeah, fourth place despite a braking issue. He felt that he had a long brake pedal and couldn't do anything about it for the short session. It was only a 20-minute session yesterday, so he was fourth, but he was a couple of tenths away. He's not sure, though, that he's quite got the pace, even with that brake issue taken out of the equation, to be contesting the front three. Lucas Auer there, the Austrian driver who starts the race from fifth on the grid. He's had one win this season. That came at Hockenheim, the second event of the season. He's had a couple of seconds and a couple of thirds as well. And Lucas is in his third season of Formula 3 racing. He's up there in fourth place in the championship. He drives for Muka Motorsport, as does the pole sitter Felix Rosenqvist, as does this young man from Tel Aviv, the Israeli driver Roy Nissany, with his best qualifying session of the year so far around this short 2.3 kilometre long street circuit. He got sixth place yesterday, so the three Muka Motorsport cars, Peter Muka's team, the Mercedes-powered cars, all going well here. And there's another of the young rookies, Jake Dennis from Nuneaton in Warwickshire in Great Britain, backed by the Racing Steps Foundation. 5 major national karting titles to his name. Then he won the Intersteps Championship in his first season of car racing. Then he won the Formula Renault Northern European Championship. Slight shock to the system last year when he didn't win a championship. He finished fourth in the Euro Cup, still a very good effort, and he's had a very good qualifying session as well, much better than he managed at Spa. He's been racing well, but not always had the best of luck in qualifying. But Jake's 7th here, and he was pretty pleased with that when we caught up with him yesterday. So Jake Dennis up there going well. And Gustavo Menezes there in the number 16 car, the Van Amersfoort racing car. The Dutch team also run Max Verstappen, who won all 3 races at Spa last year. And Menezes got his first visit to the podium, in fact visits to the podium at Spa in the last round, because he had 2 third-place finishes, and Gustavo really seems to be stepping up. And Mitch Gilbert, who started to pick up some points now, the Australian, he qualified in 9th place yesterday, and he's another one that in the last couple of rounds has started to show a bit of form here in his second season of the championship, Dave. Yeah,
very much so. So good qualifying from the Fortec driver Mitch Gilbert, who we see there on the grid. Next up, it's going to be P10 on the grid, and that goes the way of Jordan King.
Yeah, Jordan King a bit disappointing there in 10th place, last year's British Formula 3 champion. He knows all about being a quick rookie, because he was the best rookie in the championship last year, but he got all these very, very quick rookies like Ocon, Verstappen, Dennis and Foucault coming through. Only 10th place yesterday for the Carlin Motorsport man, powered by Volkswagen. We went down for qualifying down to the S's, didn't we, Dave? Right by the track. Fantastic place to go and stand on the inside of the S's. We were literally a metre away from the drivers, watching them almost clip the barriers through the S's. And Jordan looked to the eye, looked the quickest through the S's, didn't he? He was very aggressive on the steering.
Absolutely, and he was for sure, out of everyone that was out in qualifying, he was the one that was getting so close on the entrance to those S's, very nearly clipping the right-hand front wheel, but really close. So extremely exciting to watch, and of course that's what the Norris Ring circuit brings to us, isn't it? It's such a short, tight circuit with those unforgiving walls either side.
did a little bit of sad maths last night. The gap between Felix Rosenqvist and Esteban Ocon in qualifying was 0.003 of a second. And if you look at the average time and the average distance of the lap, that equates to 14 centimetres. That was the difference between them on a flying lap.
Well done for using your calculator.
I think it's right. Anyway, Esteban Ocon there. So he got his first northern finish of the season at the last event at Spa. A bit of a coming together with Antonio Fuoco. But otherwise, his copybook has been pretty much unblighted. He's had 5 wins, 7 seconds, and a third. There was one other race where he didn't finish in the points. That was at Hockenheim, and he would have been on the podium, but for a fuel issue with the car in the very last half lap of the race. There's Max Verstappen then. So he's actually only had 1 win less than Esteban Ocon. However, he's also had lots of DNFs, which has been his problem so far this season. So Esteban Ocon has a very healthy lead in the championship, 268 points. He's 94 points clear of Tom Blomqvist. Verstappen is third in the championship. He's had the 4 wins, but he's also had 5 DNFs and a DNS as well, a couple of clutch problems for him as the grid now begins to be cleared. It
was interesting talking to Marcus Simmons from Autosport magazine yesterday. We were talking about Max Verstappen, and Marcus of course knows Jos Verstappen extremely well, and he had some success here at this circuit, didn't he?
Yes, in German Formula 3,
93,
21 years ago, in 1993, yeah, when both the races here. So, and apparently he let,
yes, he told
his
Max
son know that. Yeah. Just to remind you that I won both my races here, Max. So don't let me down. But Max, yeah, superstar at Spa, wasn't he? With some fantastic racing at Spa, tons of overtaking. And Max got into the lead, I think, by the end of the first lap on every occasion. Apart from the last race, we had to come from 5th on the grid to win. But by lap 2, he was already up in the lead. So he really is the on-form driver at the moment. But Felix Rosenqvist, as I say, disappointing season for him so far. It's not been all of his own volition, though, has it?
No, it hasn't. And you mentioned earlier in the programme that the second half of the season now, whatever Felix Rosenqvist's plans are for next season, the second half of the season have got to be so much better than the first half.
Exactly right, yeah. However, he does win the big races. The one race that he has won this season was the Grand Prix at Pau.
Yeah.
He also previously, a few years ago, 2011, won the Masters race, the Formula 3 Masters race at Zandvoort. So he likes winning the big races. Biggies. The year before that, incidentally, in 2010, it was won by Valtteri Bottas, the Masters title, who's of course now been on the podium for Williams in Formula 1. So Felix Rosenqvist, 6th in the championship. He has been picking up points here and there. He had the win of the Grand Prix at Pau. He had 3rd place at Hungary, but there have been too many incidents where he's just dropped points. Was on for a podium at Spa, and he had a fuel pump issue on the very last lap of the race. He was on for a 2nd place finish at Hungary, and he was one of many drivers that got sent into the pits for exceeding the track limits and had to serve a drive-through penalty.
And going into this season, you know, you would have said, as we did, Felix would have been right at the top of the list in terms of favourites, wouldn't he, for the championship this year. But the standard of the rookies that have come in, and you and I have discussed this on many occasions, is just so very high.
Yeah, he's had 5 seasons now of racing in Formula 3, starting in German or ATS Formula 3 racing. And 2 years ago he was third in the championship. Last year, as I said, he was 2nd with 11 wins, just missing out to the eventual champion. And he got pole position at this race last year, in fact, so he has won at this track before, got on the podium a couple of times last year. Felix Rosenqvist last year got pole position by 1,000th of a second, so he's opening up the gap a bit.
Yes, okay. So Rosenqvist, Ocon, then it's Verstappen and Blomqvist, then we see Auer and Nissany, Dennis and Meneses, then it's Gilbert and King and Latifi and Shimkoviak, Giovinazzi, Fuoco, Goddard, Sorales, Calderon, Galea, then it's Van der Laar, Ferrucci, Beretta, Gumaresh, Zeller and Torrell, with Bryant Meisner and Hector Hurst then on P25 and 26. The grid in full, as you can see on screen here at Norris Ring, for race 1 of 3 in the F3 FIA European Championship, as this fine championship continues here in the sunshine at Norris Ring. Conditions absolutely perfect today. Predicted to be very different tomorrow. So as you can see there, 2.3 kilometres the track, 42 expected laps, some 96 kilometres.
It doesn't take long even to do the formation lap. They're already coming back to the grid. This place is all about braking hard, hairpins, acceleration, and avoiding the wall and pushing it to the limits. That car has been a little bit imbalanced this season. Struggled around the faster circuits with the faster bends where the car needs to have a stiffer setup. So Silverstone, he struggled. So did everybody else in his team. Felix Rosenqvist, the Mugen Motorsport team, also struggled a bit at Spa. But this is a track with a softer setup that suits the car. And as I say, They've got 3 cars up in the top 6 there. So Felix Rosenqvist then will have a fairly long hold from pole position. He's to the left of the picture with Esteban Ocon. He's not made the best of starts this year. It's been the one thing he said that he needs to work on his starts. Certainly Tom Blomqvist in one of the races at Hungary outgunned him into the first turn and got a win because of that, really. So Ocon there will need a good start from the outside of row 1. Max Verstappen second back on the left, and then Tom Blomqvist to the right of row 2. As the red lights go out, the race gets underway. It's a great start, isn't it, for Rosenqvist? And Max Verstappen coming across then at Tom Blomqvist. Had to get off the throttle, and now he's going to have to go defensive as he runs down from Lucas Auer into the hairpin for the first time. It's going to be Felix Rosenqvist that leads the race. Ocon is second. Blomqvist is trying to be in 3rd place. Lucas Auer looks like he's the one that's made a good start and got it to 4th position. So it's going to be a place lost then for Max Verstappen, who's just tried a bit too hard, and there's a pile-up further down the order coming out of the hairpins in John Meissner, one of the drivers involved in that. Further down the grid, about 3/4 of the way down the grid, a bit of a pile-up through the hairpin. And that's why qualifying is so important here. There's 9/10 of a second covering the top 23 or 24 drivers in the session yesterday. And it looks already, Dave, like the safety car is going to come out. It didn't take long, did it?
No, it didn't. And it's perhaps no surprise. There was that concertina effect right at the back of the grid as they turned around the hairpin to head back on the start-finish straight, which 3 or 4 got collected there. And you can see the resultant cars being pushed off, and there's one still stuck there. Safety. Yeah.
And Dennis van der Laar, the other one.
Safety car picks them up then, and yeah, perhaps no surprise that the safety car is out very, very early on. And of the second row, Verstappen's start wasn't brilliant, was it? Blomqvist got a good one, and Verstappen just seemed to bog down a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's actually quite well away off the line. Let's have a look. He's the second one back on the left. Look, he got off the line okay, but then he came across to try and stop Tom Blomqvist coming through. And when he did that, they almost touched wheels. He had to get off the throttle, and that compromised his own run down to the hairpin. There's that perfect start from Felix Rosenqvist. Beautiful start. Ocon made a good start as well in second position. And Blomqvist hooked it up beautifully as well. Tom Blomqvist is also a seasoned campaigner in his 3rd year now of Formula 3 racing.
Lucas Auer kept committed, didn't he? And you stayed in there, and it was Giovinazzi that went round there, wasn't it?
Yeah, Giovinazzi got a whack, and then as he rejoins, look, it's Spike Goddard that he touched his wheels with, and then really the road was just blocked for everybody else. They couldn't find a way through, could they? So look further down the order here, what sparks all this off.
So Giovinazzi gets turned around, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was what sparked the main incident, wasn't it? There was a bit of contact higher up the order in front of that. John Bright and Meissner at the back there in the blue and yellow car, the number 10 machine, the Fortec car. I think he just stops, doesn't he? He's got nowhere to go. He didn't actually hit anybody.
Torrell right across the curbs, wasn't he?
Yeah, this is one circuit where exceeding track limits is not something you get penalised for by the officials, but you will by virtue of you being in the wall. And it looks like that there's going to be no further part in the race for Felipe Guimarães, the South American Formula 3 champion. Dennis van der Laar out as well. Didn't look like he'd taken a massive hit on the car, but obviously it did get a knock, so he's out of the race.
Szymkowiak is in with a
change of
new front nose going on.
There's probably about 5 or 6 cars involved in that incident, wasn't there? Down at the hairpin. And it's not unusual here at the Norris Ring, the first run down to the first corner, which is the tight hairpin, and they're all trying to squeeze into a relatively narrow piece of track. You can't really monitor crossing the white lines at this circuit because there are white lines everywhere, Dave. It's a proper road circuit, this, isn't it? It's been used since 1947 as a street circuit. It's their enormous credit yesterday in practice and also in qualifying. There was very little in the way of incident for these drivers. Looks like the race is about to roll back out under full green flag conditions, and Felix Rosenqvist has the jump there on Esteban Ocon, who in turn is well clear, I think, of Tom Blomqvist in 3rd place. Verstappen is there in 4th position, so I think he managed to get a place back, didn't he? While all that was going on the just before the safety car came out, he managed to get back ahead of Lucas Auer. Just made up a few places, I notice as well. The youngest drivers in the series. The youngest driver is Santino Ferruccio, who couldn't join the series until the last round at Spa when he turned 16, in May. So he's the youngest driver, a couple of 17-year-olds, lots of 19-year-olds, and only a couple in their early 20s. So very young, talented fields of drivers. As Felix Rosenqvist leads them through. Tom Blomqvist gets a good run through the hairpin there. I'm sure he's quite tight enough to the tail of Esteban Ocon to try and work his way through. This time everybody behaves because they're a little bit more spread out, and already they come through to complete the first flying lap of the restart. 49.4 seconds it took Felix Rosenqvist to come through. Auer there in 5th place. Jake Dennis has made up a place in 6th position.
Now, Blomqvist and Verstappen are... Blomqvist certainly on the back of Ocon going into that turn was very, very close. So he's, you know, in the early stages of this race, realising that probably it's the opportune time to try and get past, isn't it? But he's going to have a devil of a job here. Rosenqvist leading from Ocon, Blomqvist, then it's Verstappen, and Auer.
He's trying to pull away as much as he can. Slippery surface this compared to most circuits, so it will grip up across the course of the weekend. And as I said, it was very, very hot yesterday, especially in the afternoon. So slipping and sliding around too much. Still half a second the difference between the top two. Blomqvist further forward, trying to tense back in third position, then Verstappen, then Auer, then Dennis Latifi. Nicholas Latifi has gone from 11th to 7th. So the number one car makes a move, and making a move up the inside, all over the curbs, off the track. He's Max Verstappen. He does like to try a move or two. This heralds from his karting days. Just to remind you that Max Verstappen is in his first season of car racing. He's come from a wonderful karting pedigree, and we got more contact here further down the field, pointing in the wrong direction. It's Gustavo Menezes this time, so he's been tagged on the way out of the hairpin by the looks of things, and I think we might have another safety car on the way here. It's possibly Mitch Gilbert, is it, the other car involved in that?
It's Foco.
It's Antonio Fuoco, who's suffering here because he had a poor qualifying session yesterday, 14th place. Gustavo Menezes is desperately trying to get the attention of the marshals to get the other car hooked off him so he can try and get back underway and restart. The 19-year-old from Santa Monica in California gets out of the car. Antonio Fuoco is out of the car as well. Antonio, who was one of the star rookies in the very first round at Silverstone, but it's been very mixed for him in the last 3 or 4 rounds of the series, hasn't it? And it looks like another non-point scoring finish for Antonio. So he got tangled up with Esteban Ocon at Spa. He had a number of pit stop penalties in one of the races. He exceeded the track limits at Hungary, got called in for a pit stop drive-through, and then went over the blend line coming out of the pits, and then got another stop-go penalty because of that, which cost him points.
Bad day at the office, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, yeah. And another one here. And we only saw the aftermath of that, not the cause of it. We may get a replay to see who maybe was at fault for that one.
Well, Menezes was absolutely desperate, wasn't he, to get the car moved so that he could get back on, but there we can see it.
So from the angle of the car, it looked like Menezes was maybe the victim there, wasn't it? He was certainly the one in front. Fock had to go at the inside. Whether Menezes closed the door, you know, they'll both argue their own case, won't they? But the result is that they're both going to be out of the race here. Menezes, I think it's pretty clear in his mind whose fault that was with the gesticulation that's going on there.
Yes.
True South American fashion. It seemed, wasn't it? So drivers walking away. It's 3 or 4 already now, haven't we? So Menezes out of contention, despite the fact that the Californian was trying to get back in the mix. His second season of Formula 3 racing. So the safety car has been brought back out for the second time. Jolson Kvyat, he's trying to catch up the pack, so he's the number 15 car just at the front of the field there. And just a few seconds before all that happened, we had Max Verstappen trying something pretty innovative at the inside, completely at the inside off the track.
It's one of the things, though, that's extremely attractive about Max Verstappen and his racing is that, you know, he doesn't necessarily always go for the traditional paths. All right, that one was very untraditional, wasn't it? But he's always prepared to have a go. And one of the banners that, funnily enough, we haven't seen here at Norrisring, that we've seen at every other circuit, which just says that Max overtaking is an art. And I think, to be fair, he will take chances where others won't.
Yep. And sort of unbridled enthusiasm, isn't it, from the youngsters. Menezes' car is hauled away. So a real shame for those couple of podiums for the Van Amersfoort racing driver. He's hauled away. There's a bit of a collection going on down there at the hairpin now. Marshals have been kept busy. I suspect they expected they might be down at that position during the course of the day. So I think it'd be a fairly quick safety car delay. Rosenqvist keeps trying to build the lead, but to no avail. He's had more than a couple of laps running, hasn't he? The safety car's come out. Gone in 7th place. Verstappen still 3rd, despite his best efforts in the hairpin. Auer is 4th, Dennis is 5th. Latifi up to 6th place now from 11th on the grid. Safety car light's still on. And Nicholas Latifi's driver looking for his first win of the season. Various winners this year, but he's been on the podium. Got on the podium at Silverstone, not yet won. Drive-through penalty for a jump start for Spike Goddard. The Australian is sent through. Even further down the order, he's 15th at the moment, so he's going to pretty much drop to the back, isn't he? Blomqvist has gone down to 21st position. We didn't see what happened there. I think
it
was probably during that other pilot that something has happened. But Tom Blomqvist is 21st and not in third place anymore.
It was when you mentioned Verstappen. Where's
Third,
Blomqvist
yeah,
gone?
third, not, yeah,
Yeah,
it was fourth, wasn't
that's
it?
right. And if you think about it, when Verstappen came over those curbs, you know, Blomqvist was still there then. So I think you're right. I think it was whilst we were watching the other incident.
Yeah,
something has happened to Tom.
Yeah, well, the car's still running, is it? I think so, yeah. The car's still running, so... And he has been in the pits, by the looks of things. So he's been in the pits, and Kvyat's been in the pits. And Giovinazzi's been in the pits, so I suspect it's damage to the car. I don't think at the hairpin, it cut away quite quickly after that. I'm not sure he got tagged at the hairpin, so maybe it was later on in the lap down at the S's while we were watching all the action going on with Meneses and Antonio Fuoco. So bunching them all up here.
Right, this is where Rosenqvist will get them all bunched up behind him in the hope that he can get a flyer now as they once again head towards the green, and the race will restart for the second time of asking after our second brief safety car period. Credit to the marshals, doing a great job in clearing up the debris. Here we go once again.
Ocon's had a pretty good restart here, hasn't he? He's getting himself onto the tail of the Swede. Closing, but the inside line is covered. Now he switches to the inside, and Ocon is going for the lead of the race here. Halfway alongside into the hairpin. Rosenqvist runs wide, lets him through almost, and Ocon goes through. And I think Felix was just trying to avoid the contact there because he could see in his mirrors that the Frenchman was committed to the move there. It was a great restart from Esteban Ocon. It looked almost as if he just ran out of time to get the move done, but then he went through as Goddard serves his penalty. So Ocon, the new race leader, looking for his 6th victory of the season. Rosenqvist is down to 2nd place. He's got to fight back here. He won the 3rd race at this event last season, finished 2nd in the other 2. Raffaele Marciello, the champion of last year, and Alex Lynn were other race winners. And there you can see the number 4 Muka Motorsport car of Roy Nissani, who's never shy to have a go either. He's trying to pull out the slipstream and get a place pulled up here on Jordan King by the looks of it.
And Verstappen having a go now, and has Verstappen done enough? If he can scrub the speed off, I think he has.
Easily, yeah, straight through before he got almost to the head himself. So you can overtake it. It's a street circuit, but this is no Monte Carlo. You can get through. There are places to get through at the hairpins. You get a long run down the straight, so you can slipstream one another through the S's here. That's all over the pavement on the exit, as you can see. That actually go off the road completely. So Ocon and Verstappen making their way ahead of Felix Rosenqvist. And he's now got his teammates from Muka Motorsport, Lucas Sauer, to try and contend with. Jake Dennis is in 5th place. Then you've got Latifi in 6th position. King and Nissani battling over 7th. And still King in the blue Carling car just ahead in that battle. This is going to be a replay of Verstappen's move. Sort of around the outside out of the slipstream. I don't think, to be fair, there was much Felix could do about that.
No.
He was the one giving the tow. He was the one getting all the air resistance. And Verstappen sort of drove around him. This was the one where, you know, if maybe Felix might have made that harder for Ocon.
Yeah.
But then equally, if he had, you know, there may well have been contact, to be fair. He was relatively sensible in that.
Wise head, perhaps, driving there. Ocon, Verstappen, Rosenqvist. Then it's out Dennis Latifi.
So that's a battle in the background. You can see him on the side. I think there's another one just in front of them as we've got Jake Dennis trying to get even further up the order here. Well, he's 5th. He's trying to defend that 5th place now from the number 1 car of Nicholas Latifi. He's come on the move from 11th place here. The Prema Power Team car is going to get the move done on the way into the hairpin at turn 1. Down to 1st gear for that hairpin. Down to 1st gear for both of the hairpins to go from 6th down to 1st. Lots of late braking, and through he went. So again, Jake Dennis can do a lot about that. He feigns one at the inside into the right, left flick through the S's. Through this left-hand section of the S's, they really do glance the barrier. That's where Dave and I were stood yesterday, and they almost kissed the walls coming out of the corner as well.
There was a mistake there by Latifi, and Dennis is, Jordan King has, well, Latifi has kept his foot in, hasn't he?
Dennis has lost 2 places there to King and Nissani, so it's gone from 5th to 8th in the last half a lap or so. And the Racing Steps Foundation back car, white, blue and red machine. Get a replay
of that mistake, perhaps.
An incident, eventually. Some cars might go into the shot. There's a replay of the track. Anyway, there's more incidents at the hairpin. Jordan King about to lose the place back to Latifi, I think, just at the back of the shot. But I think the number 1 car got through. Great battle going on for 5th place. And Verstappen and Ocon, meanwhile, have switched around as well. So the Dutchman comes through. And here is the replay we do need to see. And it was down at the hairpin. And that was late on the brakes. Ocon tried to fight back, look. Didn't make it easy, did he? But nope. Verstappen got the job done. So he's the 3rd different race leader we've had now. Verstappen, Ocon and Rosenqvist have all led the race. And yes, Latifi did get back ahead, I think, in that battle for 5th, which I had my eye on just behind this group. Yes, he has. A big gap now, though, is formed between these top 4 and the rest of the field. Now, Verstappen, it's his turn to lead, but it's also his turn to give everybody else a toe, Dave, which they'll try and do down into that first hairpin.
So Ocon will be furious about that. You could see how he aggressively took the curves, trying to defend that place. But Verstappen, well, just very, very, well, almost drastically late. And talking of drastic,
one up in the air there, that is Giovinazzi, who's already been in the wars once in that incident right on the first corner. So Giovinazzi getting airborne there as wheels touched. And the Italian is definitely out of the race this time. I'm pretty sure that's going to bring the safety car out once again, isn't it? So he parks it up, he'll be okay. But he's right up against the wall on the exit to that first hairpin. But for the yellow number 19 machine. And what happens here? No, it was unsighted, wasn't it?
Yes.
As Giovinazzi came out of the hairpin, car slowing right in front of him. That was, I reckon that's Tatiana Calderon, isn't it?
Absolutely launched, didn't it?
Yeah. The orange car just
I think you're right, it is Tatiana Calderon.
Yeah, very lucky they didn't go right over the top of the car there. One or two others were embroiled in that. So as he accelerated, right on the line was parked Tatiana Calderon. You'd think it must have had a car issue to stop like that, or slowed like that. So that's desperately unlucky, isn't it, for Giovinazzi? I don't think he could do anything about that, to be fair to him. He was the first one on the scene. And the car going much slower than you would anticipate, exactly where he wanted to be.
So for the 3rd time, what this will do is bunch them all up once again for a restart, won't it? For the 3rd time, it's a different order. Verstappen, Ocon, Rosenqvist, Latifi, King, Dennis, Nissany, Sorales, and Galeil, the top 10.
While we've been looking at the battles and the incidents in this race, Tom Blomqvist has got his way back up to 12th place now. So he's gone from 3rd to 21st, back up to 12th. So Blomqvist fighting back here. He's not going to get his 4th win of the season, but he might just get some points. It's all been going on at this hairpin, hasn't it? Coming out of the corner rather than going into it. So that's what the chick on here I am. Carling cars out of the race. It's not frustrating weekend so far for the Carling Motorsport team. Finished 3rd in the Teams Championship last year, which was won by Prema Power team. Just won 2nd in that championship last year. Peter Wiggins' team, the Berlin run team, who ran Felix Rosenqvist in 3rd, Lucas Auer in 4th, and Roy Nissany, who's going rather well here, in 8th place, and a couple of points finishes, I think 4 points finishes in last season's championship, did Roy Nissany. But he hasn't picked up too many points this season. He's 18th in the championship, his best result being an 8th place at Hockenheim, so he's on to equal his best, Roy Nissany. So this safety car, it's going to be good news for the likes of Tom Blomqvist. He's trying to work his way back up the order. Made Giovinazzi get back in the car to help them tow it away to the increasing pile of Formula 3 cars, which is littered on the infield on the exit to the first hairpin.
And the nose cone that's stuck under the car is just acting as a plough now, isn't it? As they're trying to drag that car off. Well, Verstappen, of course, came here on a confidence high, didn't he? Taking 3 out of 3, and absolute commitment from Max Verstappen. Absolutely determined to make that move work, and he did. As
there's more drivers spectating than driving the cars at the moment, isn't there?
Interestingly, Menezes and Fuoco are not having a deep chat together, are they? Not surprised by that, perhaps.
They may have had an exchange of words, but I don't think it was all that pally. So it should be, I would have thought, underway at the end of this lap. And safety car light's still on at the moment. You can see the drivers try to keep the heat in the Air One slick tyres. More horsepower for these cars, 240 horsepower this year. Direct fuel injection for the first time. An increase in power. The 210 brake horsepower carried in the cars last season. So suspension tweaks as well to make them more racy. They are a little bit heavier than last year, but the power to weight ratio of these cars is absolutely immense. The way just over half a ton, 165 kilogram minimum weight. So he's going to be one more lap behind the safety car.
I wonder what, you know, when the Hankook tyre engineers look at this, because of the cambers that there are at this particular circuit, there's the change of the surface as well, isn't there? We've seen there where they come off the tarmac onto what are effectively paving slabs, don't they, at the end of the S's there.
Yeah.
Tyre setup for this, presumably a very, very short and very, very demanding street circuit.
It's got to be a compromise on the Hankooks,
I would
because
think.
you've got tarmac, you've got concrete, changes in surface. There are lots of crowns in the road as well.
Crowns, that's the word.
Yeah, down into some of the hairpins, there are real crowns in the road where if you brake in a certain place, it's going to be much more unstable the car than another portion of the road. So it's very much about being accurate and placing the car in the right place when you're turning into corners here as much as anything else. Very bumpy as well. Into the last hairpin, there's a bit of a rise as well, just a slight rise in the track just as you hit the brakes. They're very late there, 110, 120 metres before the corner, really hard on the brakes. So as much as the surface is stable, I think the Hankook tyres probably really have to stand up to all of the hard braking that they're being asked to undergo into these two hairpins, and indeed the S's themselves.
Yes, you're right. So Verstappen, Ocon, Rosenqvist, Auer. Then it's Latifi, King, Dennis, Nassani, Sorales, Galil. As we can see, yet another car out of the race as it finally gets towed back to safety. And that's almost exactly the point where yesterday we stood.
Yeah, that inside barrier there, fantastic place to watch Giovinazzi. Out of the race, I'm afraid, already in the wars in this race. 8th in the championship. He has one podium this year. Second place finish at Hockenheim. Did well at Hungary with the 5th and the 6th as well. And picked up another point at Spa, but it's not going to be this time for him. It's a little bit winded as well,
yes, he is.
Which I wouldn't be surprised at. Calderon, who he hit, has gone into the pits, by the way. Yeah, just holding his chest there. I think he's okay. He's waved the attention of the marshals away, but it's definitely winded in that, not surprisingly. Built to such a high spec, these cars, in terms of safety, or to the FIA regs, that he's got everything around him to help protect him in that cockpit. 6-point harness as well.
Well, I think inevitably, Chris, this is going to go to time rather than laps, isn't it?
Yes, it seems so, yeah, the 35-minute maximum. We've got 12 minutes and 52 seconds left on the clock. Giovinazzi's got his helmet off now, so hopefully he'll be okay. Catches his breath. And there you go. Look, just
really did launch, didn't it?
He tried, didn't he? He tried to steer around, and it may have been worse had he not reacted the way he did. He did get hit the left rear wheel of Calderon, but he didn't hit a square on, because he did see it the last split second and didn't react. Okay, so this is going to be a restart. Watch Ocon, because he hit this time a couple of minutes ago is when he got the restart jump on Rosenqvist and got the lead of the race. These two are well clear. Rosenqvist has bunched the rest of the field up from third backwards, look. So he's going to come under attack from Lucas Auer, and maybe from Nicholas Latifi as well, the half-Italian Canadian who lives in Toronto. Look at that battle for third place here. Rosenqvist is going to lose another position, is he, to Auer? Auer gets his nose in front on the way into the hairpin, but then runs a bit too deep into the corner. Hard on the brakes. They're still going to be side by side down towards the S's here. Which of the two teammates is going to get through? Lucas Auer is the answer. It took him 2 corners to do it. The Austrian through. Rosenqvist slips back to 4th place now, the pole position man. And I'd be very disappointed with the way this is going. He was cock-a-hoot yesterday after getting his first pole of the season, wasn't he? A real smile on his face. He did a very good job. But the race is not going according to plan, I'm afraid, for the Swede. So he's just had the one race win this season, the Pole Grand Prix, first Swede to win that event for 43 years. A great one to win. But if you said to him at the start of the season, we'll get to Norris Ring, and you know, only one win on the podium, you'd have been very disappointed with that. He's fighting back here now, trying to get that 3rd place back away from Lucas Auer. They're going to be side by side once again into the hairpin. Once again, there's one driver running wide on the way out of the corner, and Latifi's going to split the pair of them because of that. And Jake Dennis is going to try and get around as well. Isn't he in 6th position? He'll look to the outside. He won't get through there. So Jake Dennis having a big go to try and get through, but it didn't quite work out for him.
It's Rosenqvist that's gone backwards again, isn't it? He's having a mare of a time of it here. In the meantime, Verstappen and Ocon have built up a 2-second margin over this warring pack behind us. We see, excuse me, an end plate there.
Yeah, down at the hairpin. Is it the hairpin? I think it's down to the S's, actually, on the way to the S's, isn't it? That's right on the racing line. So keep an eye on that. Verstappen leads. Ocon half a second back in second place. I think that's the biggest margin that we've had from first to second in the whole race so far. Half a second. We haven't had that many race laps. And then this mighty battle, which was going on for third place, well, that's now being led by Lucas Au with Latifi in fourth position. In fifth position, Felix Rosenqvist. The yellow flags are not for an incident, but for the debris that's on the circuit. Dennis in sixth place. Safety car comes out for the, lost count now, third time in the race. Jordan King is...
I think it's the fourth.
Fourth, might be the fourth. We've had certainly more laps behind the safety car than we have had in full race conditions. I think we've maybe had 2 or 3 laps running before a safety car had come out. This will be a quick one though, because there's the offending bit of bodywork taken away. And Felipe Guimaraes' car, I think it came off. Almost hit one or two other drivers as well, which is the more scary thing. Oh no, actually, that's Jordan King's car.
Jordan King's.
Front end plate comes loose, and he's going to trip over it here. Or was this separate actually? Because wasn't that bit of bodywork on the way down into there? But this is separate, isn't it?
Yes, I think it is. This is the whole nose, isn't it?
So Jordan King, who made a bit of progress in this race, from 10th to 9th. He was higher than that at one point. He was up to 6th or 7th, wasn't he? But I think he may have even been 5th at one point. But 9th now, and looking like he's either going to have to struggle with that for the rest of the race or go into the pits and change the nose of the car.
Question here is, what's happened to Rosenqvist from his cock-a-hoopness, as you said yesterday, to his performance in the race, which has seen him lose a handful of places, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, some of them he couldn't do anything about because they was just being slipstreamed, and he's never had the chance, to be fair to him, to get away from them, has he, with all these safety cars? But no, he has really struggled so far in this race. For somebody that, others might be thinking about points now at this stage of the season. Ocon, Blomqvist, Verstappen thinking about points. He's just thinking about trying to win races. But he's not doing that at the moment as the race gets back underway. That's a good restart, that, from Verstappen, isn't it? I don't think he's going to come under pressure here.
Now, Jake Dennis is going to try and see Rosenqvist go even further down the order, and he's done it. Look, he's going to be outside now. He manages to get past before that hairpin.
Nice move.
Yeah, and Jake Dennis then moves up into P5.
Yeah, nice move on Rosenqvist, that, wasn't it? Rosenqvist also seems to have struggled on the restarts, which makes me slightly wonder if there's a bit of an issue with the car. The way the restart before that, in particular, he left a massive gap to the top two, didn't he? So Rosenqvist really struggling. He doesn't know his way around the circuit. As I said, he went here last year in the races, and second in the other two. She's had one or two safety car restarts in the Norris ring in his time, hasn't he?
Yes. So his teammate Sorales and Nissany behind him now.
As Jordan King goes into the pits to sort that front wing out, so he's not going to get any points here, I'm afraid. Jordan 9th in the championship. It all started so well at Silverstone, the first race of the season, when he got onto the podium in third place.
So Rosenqvist fighting back a bit there, but Dennis able to get away, and Rosenqvist has got Nissany.
Nissany promoted to 7th now with the demise of Jordan King. You can't quite see why he lost his front wing. He had been involved in the thick of it, hadn't he, Jordan King? So Rosenqvist trying to get this 5th place back from Jake Dennis. His first season, Jake, of the championship. He's second, actually, in the rookie standings. Have separate point system for the rookie standings. And Jake has been having some good results so far this season. He's 7th in the overall standings. Hasn't yet won a race, but he's had a couple of podiums on Spa. But now has he left the door open there? No, he's pretty late on the brakes. He's a bit too late on the brakes, so Rosenqvist should get him on the way out of the hairpin here. But Jake Dennis keeps his foot buried, and Jake will have the inside line for the S's. In the white, red and blue Carly car, the Racing Steps driver holds his position and fends off Felix Rosenqvist. So look, for all the world, as though Jake was going to give that place away there, but he just braked a bit too deep into the hairpin, but he fought back very well, kept the car running wide out of the corner, kept his foot in, and there's more contact here, and John Bright Meisner is on the brunt of it again at the back of the field. Just about avoided contact, but there was contact just ahead of him. Spot Goddard tries to work his way back up from his drive-through penalty earlier on. That's him getting past the youngest driver in the field, Santino Ferrucci, the 16-year-old American. So there's 5th, there's 6th, and there's 7th, Roy Nissany. In 8th place then, Felix Sorales, and another look down the inside here, just back. Tom Blomqvist back into the points now, in 10th place. The number 31 car. Good fight back this has been, hasn't it, from Tom? Bearing in mind he hasn't that many laps of running without a safety car to try and get through the order. That said, the safety car has kept the field clenched up for him. Chris did a good job here. We've been 21st at one point in this race to now be back up to points in 10th place, and with who ahead of Sean Galan, who was trying to get ahead of. He might have done now, so 9th place it could be, and then Sorales is his next target in 8th position. Got to complete another lap of the race. There's 5 minutes and 19 seconds left on the clock. It's such a short lap, there's still time for another 7 laps in the race. So we don't get any more safety cars, Dave.
Yes, wouldn't bet against that, would you? Well, Rosenqvist, interestingly, has been able to keep with Dennis here, hasn't he? And he's not succumbed to the pressure of Roy Nassani either, because Roy Nassani hasn't really quite been close enough, as we see yet more issues, and Spike Goddard involved in that. Also involved in that is Michaela Beretta.
Yeah, and Alex Torriel as well in the number 12 car, the 3 Bond car. In fact, Spike Goddard and Alex Torriel are teammates for 3 Bond. And the number 8 car is the one that's not going to get going again, the Euro International car. Did I say about a safety car? Oh dear, another one. What was this? A very late move under braking there, and he just got completely wiped out there. And it was Jules Simkoviak, who we didn't see the remnants of Jules' car, because he made his escape, didn't he, before we got to see the car stricken there. But Jules Simkoviak must have come from 4 car lengths back there, yeah, and completely unsighted. Michele Beretta would have even expected that, and he shakes his head, and I can quite understand why. That was a little bit leery, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's got a braking issue, Simkoviak, I don't know, but that was from nowhere and completely wiping the Italian driver out of the race.
We're going to get away with this, you know, without a safety car.
I think so.
I think we are.
Because that was on the way into the corner for the first time, and they've all been coming out of the corner, haven't they, previously? It's stuck on the circuit, that one, went down the escape road. So 3 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock. We have got still exactly half a second between the top 2. No surprises, there's a loose front wing here for Jules Simkoviak, the Dutch driver. Started his career in motocross, very good karting pedigree, raced in the DD2 gearbox karting category in the Road Tax Max Euro Challenger, which was a top 3 finisher in the championship. Has shown flashes of pace this year. Another of the rookies trying to make an impression. So he's going to try and bring this home now and see if he can finish the race. He's in 12th place. He's not going to get any points, but he'll try and get a decent finish with this. There's lots of repair work to do for the teams, because races 2 and 3 are both tomorrow, but they have got enough qualifying sessions to come today. Qualifying.
So 3 minutes left on the clock then for the races we watched. Jules Simkoviak then with the wobbling. That hangs on for the remainder of this race. I'll be amazed, to be honest with you. We've seen so much debris, haven't we, come off of cars where contact has been involved. And discretion is a better part of valour, and decides to pit, which is wise. Verstappen with 8/10 over Sebastian Ocon.
Yeah, that Jules Simkoviak going into the pits is going to promote number 22, Hector Hurst, up into 12th place. Hector having started dead last on the grid. So he's done a good run, hasn't he? He's avoided trouble, and he's picked his way through. Hector Hurst. There's the leader there, Max Verstappen. Esteban Ocon in 2nd place. Lucas Auer has just set the first sector faster than anybody else. This lap is in 3rd place, he's 2.5 seconds back, the Austrian driver. Then it's Nicholas Latifi having a good run here. Latifi in 4th position. It's a bit of a patchy year so far as well. This will be his best finish since the first weekend of the season at Silverstone if he stays in 4th place. 3rd and 4th that weekend. 2 minutes to go. Tom Blomqvist is trying to get ahead of his teammate Sean Gillel for 9th position to pick up some more championship points, but he's not there yet. Driver's been from Sean Gillel, the Indonesian driver there in 9th place. This might well be his best finish of the season so far. He's down in 22nd place in the championship. Yes, he's had a couple of 10ths.
10ths, yes, best he's done.
Yeah, good effort by Sean. There's Jake Dennis, who is still keeping Felix Rosenqvist at arm's length in this battle for 5th position. And they're battling for championship positions as well, because Felix is 6th in the championship and Jake is 7th in the championship, 11 points behind him. To get as high up the order as he can. Going to get 2 more laps out of this by the looks of things, with 1 minute 15 seconds left on the clock. 35 laps have been completed. Not all that many of them at race conditions with all the safety car incidents that we've had. And a bit late on the brakes again there, making a good ground is Felix Rosenqvist. He's still not given up on this, has he? Trying to get the place back. The hairpin's going to be the best bet for him. Equally though, Jake Dennis is trying his best to close the gap to Nicholas Latifi. He's taken a 10th out of him on that first sector of the lap. So pushing hard, both these drivers, to try and either defend positions or gain positions. They've certainly rocketed away now from Roy Nissany, haven't they, the number 4 car. So he'll be pretty happy, I think, with his 7th place here and more good points for the Israeli driver. Extending his advantage now is Max Verstappen. Who wins this one, Dave? It's going to be 4 wins on the trot.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it? Of course, he came here high off the back of the 3 race wins at Spa, and well, Max Verstappen is just always prepared to give 110%, isn't he? And where you don't think there's an overtake, he makes it happen.
He will have a go. Yeah, it was a couple of very good moves into the hairpin that got him through from 3rd to 1st. Didn't make the best of starts in the race. Was 4th at one point, but came back, got the moves done. Some good restarts as well, and he's romped away for the last couple of laps. It's going to be another 2nd place finish, though. His 8th 2nd place finish of the season for Ocon. It won't be another win, though, because that goes to Max Verstappen in the first race of the weekend here in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship at the Norris Ring. He wins by 1.1 seconds from Esteban Ocon, the championship leader. Lucas Auer on the podium again. The Austrian has been very impressive this season. He's there in 3rd place. Nicholas Latifi with a great drive in 4th. There's Jos the boss, Jos Verstappen, Max's dad there with the blue shirt. There you go, son. I won twice. You've won now, but you've still got to win the other 2 to beat me.
Well, what a result for Max Verstappen then. As you said, Chris, at one point he was down in P4 in a race that was littered with and punctuated by so many safety car periods. Max Verstappen is the one that takes the win with, 1.1 second margin over Ocon. So, not only did he overtake, he'd got the real pace as well when he had the very rare opportunity to show it.
Absolutely right. Such a fantastic karting pedigree. He took 10 major domestic titles in his karting career and 5 major international titles, including a couple of world championships and some European titles as well. But this is his first season in car racing. Same for the man in 2nd place. So once again, we have a separate rookie podium, but again, it's going to be a very similar feel, isn't it, with Verstappen and Ocon both on both podiums, if you like. The 3rd best rookie being Jake Dennis there in 5th place overall. So Max Verstappen with his 4th win on the trot. He got the record for the season when he got 3 on the trot at Spa, because prior to that nobody had won more than 2 races on the bounce, which was Esteban Ocon, who won the last 2 races of the weekend at the Hungaro Ring. So 4 on the trot. This is pushing him right up now into the mix in the championship, especially given that Tom Blomqvist didn't score many points in that one. Did fight back well though. He couldn't get past Jean Galal in the end, but 10th place for Tom Blomqvist. Didn't see what happened to him, but I suspect some damage to the car, contact maybe with another driver and a visit to the pits.
Confirmation of the result then. Max Verstappen takes the win from Esteban Ocon in P2. Then it's Auer Latifi. Jake Dennis P5, then Felix Rosenqvist, Roy Nissany and Felix Sorales, Galil Blomqvist P10. Then we see Mitch Gilbert, Ferrucci, then it's Hector Hurst, Sandro Sella, John Bryant Meisner, Toril Goddard, and then a whole list of those that out, including Calderon, Giovinazzi, Menezes, Fuoco, Vandelar and Gomeres. So race 16 done and dusted, and there is Max Verstappen, very happy man indeed. Done a fantastic job, and Jos Verstappen will be absolutely delighted with his son's performance, and good smile there from Max. Be heading off towards the podium in just a few moments. Ocon then P2 and our P3 with Latifi 4 and Jake Dennis then in P5. So
good drive from Jake Dennis as well, wasn't he? He got a couple of good moves. So he's had a couple of 3rds and a couple of 4ths this season, Jake Dennis. I think that's the first time he's finished 5th this year, so he adds that one to his list. Any other year, you'd think these would shine out, these performances from Jake Dennis. It's just the fact that you got the likes of Verstappen and Ocon who've been winning the races this season. But still a mighty effort from Jake in his first season in Formula 3. But fantastic from Verstappen. You know, Ocon has car racing experience a couple of years in Formula Renault and in the Formula Renault Euro Cup, which was a very tough championship last year. But to come straight from karts to cars, Max Verstappen, a real superstar in the making here. The driver who lives in Belgium, Dutch parentage of course. Takes his 4th win of the season. Kept calm as well, didn't he, when he hadn't made the best start in the world. and then when he had to fight his way back through the order, and then when he had to defend from the final restart from Ocon, he kept his cool. There is Esteban Ocon. He won't be too disappointed, but he'll also be keeping an eye on Verstappen here. He's got this big points lead in the championship. Of course, Verstappen's been taking chunks out of that recently, hasn't he?
Yes, and we can see it all change. The Drivers' Championship once again. Ocon still leads them with 286, and Verstappen now on 180, and Tom Blomqvist at 175. So Ocon then with a extremely healthy margin, but he will of course be keeping an eye on what happens. And as we see the slow-mos of the top three, then Lucas Auer.
Good drive from Lucas, 1 win and 3 seconds now, and a couple of thirds this season. Very consistent. The driver who started out in the ATS Formula 3 Championship, finished 4th in this championship with the Kramer Power team last year. Switched his team to Moving Motorsport this year. Ocon in 2nd place for the team who won not just the Teams Championship last year, but the Raffaele Marciano, the Drivers' Championship. Got a new star, haven't they? Esteban Ocon. He's not winning, he needs to be finishing in 2nd place. That's the way you build a championship. It's been a bit more hit and miss for this young man. Not all of it is his own doing, to be fair. He won 2 errors this season, but he's a couple of points. But they can all say this sort of thing, can't they? So there he is, on the top step of the podium. Max Verstappen here at the Norris Ring. 2nd place already onto the podium for Esteban Ocon. He knows his way. And Lucas Auer there in 3rd place gets a handshake from Max Verstappen, who's already one of the taller drivers in the championship.
Wir warten auf die Nationalhymne der Niederlande für Max Verstappen.
So, national anthem done and dusted.
Wie heißt es so schön in der Hitparade früher? Musik ab.
And a very happy Max Verstappen on the top step of the podium. I'll wait to receive his trophy. There's Esteban Ocon and Lucas Auer up there as well, as Mr. Rosin looks in from the Kramer Power team. We can see there.
And they'll have the trophies presented to them now. At the rookie podium as well. So, for the 5th time this season, Max Verstappen received the trophy, this time from Prince Leopold of Bavaria, BMW brand ambassador, gives the trophy. And that's now equalled the number of wins that Esteban Ocon has had this season.
Mr. Wolfgang Schlossler, then chairman of the Motorsport Club Nuremberg, makes the team's presentation.
Van Amersfoort Racing, who Max's dad Jos used to race for, not in the Formula 3 Championship, when he raced the Formula Opel the year before that in 1992, and won the championship with them. So he's always stayed close to the team. Very much involved as well, isn't he? Always in the pits, always around the car, and apparently very, very helpful, not just to his driver, but to all the drivers in the team with all of his expertise. Quite a good man to have on your side with all his experience, isn't he, Jos Verstappen? And the trophy for 3rd place there presented to Lucas Auer. He's banging in the points, isn't he? And closes the gap as well to Tom Blomqvist. So it'll be tight between those two for 3rd and 4th in the championship now. 3 very happy drivers and a very happy team there, with a great start to the weekend in terms of their results. Punctuated, as you say, with lots of incidents and safety cars, which shows how important it is to be somewhere near the front around this circuit in qualifying, because it's quite easy to become the innocent victim of somebody else if you're 11th or 12th on the grid, isn't it? Almost the best place to be. If you can't be at the front, is at the back, because you avoid the trouble, don't you? You work your way through it like Hector Hurst did, from 22nd on the grid. Champagne spray time. They won't be drinking any, of course, because they've got to qualify later on, and that qualifying session is going to be even more crucial, because it will set the grid for both the races tomorrow. The fastest time sets the grid for race 2, their 2nd fastest time in that session for race 3. It's a short, sweet session as well. So now the podium is reset. This will be for the rookie podium for our newcomers. It must be the record number of times in a season that the rookies have actually made it onto the overall podium itself. Many, I think, are starting to agree now that this is fast becoming the most competitive Formula 3 European Championship that we've seen.
We had that discussion yesterday, didn't we, in terms of the rookies that have come into it this year, and well, it is an amazing group of drivers, and one of the most amazing is once again on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, Verstappen is getting used to this now, isn't he? Back onto the top step of the podium, joined by Ocon, and joined by Jake Dennis, who was the third best rookie, and a very good race through to 5th place there. So the Dutch driver on the top step, the French driver second, and the British driver third on the podium.
I'm very sorry that you don't hear your national anthem. Ah, there it is.
The anthem plays out once again, and trophy once again being presented to Max Verstappen then.
If he's got more than Dad yet, it's getting that way,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I was going to, yes, I was going to wonder that.
Between the pair of them, I think Mum's got a lot of dusting to do. Same for this young man, Esteban Ocon.
Yes.
Shines again, doesn't he? Led for a time, but only for a time. As I say, I'm sure he's at the stage now in the second half of the season where he's thinking about points, he's thinking about his championship, and he's not desperate to win every race. He's quite measured, very intelligent young man when you speak to him. He knows it's about the long game. Whereas Max, I suppose, is free of some of that pressure. He's just trying to catch up, isn't he, and win as many races as he can. Jake Dennis with another good result there in terms of the rookie standings, and more good overall points for Jake. We'll get closer now to Felix Rosenqvist, who is 6th in the championship, just ahead of him now. So some fantastic racing, some lively racing, some cars to be fixed here for the first race of the weekend from the Formula 3 FIA European Championship. We'll have 2 more races, one tomorrow morning and one at the end of tomorrow afternoon for you. They've got their own qualifying session to come, which is going to be absolutely critical now. But Max Verstappen is the one to beat at the moment. He doesn't lead the championship, but he leads the way in terms of race wins.